My name is Fan Yang, Assistant Director at William Stephanie Foundation. Welcome to the 2024 Real Estate Programs Training Workshop. First of all, please allow me to reintroduce William Stephanie Foundation. William and Stephanie Foundation was established to assist underserved communities of all ethnicities. Its founders, Daniel and Ling Sieu, come from a long history of their service to the community. The role of William Stephanie Foundation is the bridge between the federal and state governments and the various ethnic groups that comprise the Asian and ASEAN communities. In addition to promoting economic development of minorities, William and Stephanie Foundation also initiates and promotes positive energy events such as cultivating teenagers' social responsibility, increasing public awareness of environmental sustainability, local scholarship program, and music healing therapy. Compared to material abundance, we believe awakening everyone's dream and having a beautiful mind is more important. First of all, please allow me to reintroduce our guest speakers and important guests for today's event. Guest speakers: Honorary California State Treasurer Fiona Ma via remote, Chairman of William Stephanie Foundation, Mr. Daniel Sieu, HUD-Certified Homebuyer Educator of Ventura County Community Development Corporation, Ms. Francine Castanon. I would also like to acknowledge Marketing PR Director of California State Treasurer, Ms. Ling Sieu. We appreciate the support from the National Federation of Filipino American Associations, the Long Beach Backlot Association, and WS International Group. Now, I would like to invite our first keynote speakers for today's training workshop, Ms. Francine Castanon. As part of nonprofit housing counseling agency, VCCDC, Francine has worked to empower hundreds of local families with education on financial goals, covering aspects such as improving credit, reducing debt, increasing savings, and creating budgets with the goal of affordable home ownership. Currently, as our HUD-Certified Homebuyer Educator, Francine facilitates and instructs VCCDC's Homebuyer Education Workshop as well as post-purchase HomeSmart workshops. Francine currently holds certifications from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the HUD, and Neighbor Work Center for Home Ownership Education and Counseling in the areas of homebuyer education, pre-purchase counseling, post-purchase education, and foreclosure intervention and default counseling. Let's give a round of applause to Ms. Francine.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Francine Castanon. So I am a HUD-certified counselor. So I do mostly the education, but with HUD-certified counselors, most of them you can get one-to-one coaching services, especially in the pre-purchase, because it is a lot of work and very overwhelming. So we're going to go through a quick guide to prepare you for home purchase. So with the California Dream for All, the one thing that is most important is you must be pre-qualified with the lender. You have to already be qualified with the lender to apply for that pot of funding. So it's really important to understand. So setting yourself up for success, because just because you go to someone who is a mortgage lender does not mean they have access to the funds. It does not mean they have the availability of funds for you. So it's really important to understand when you're dealing with a lender, a broker, a bank, a credit union, any financial institution that is going to be lending you money, you need to understand what they can offer you and what they can do for you. Because there's a lot of times you have brokers that will come to you and tell you, if you bring me $20,000 cash, I can help you get into this home. And then you're going to be paying mortgage insurance and have very high mortgage payments because you didn't get down payment assistances that you could have received. And I get client after client who found out later they could have got down payment assistance, but went with a lender who wasn't qualified to do that. So in setting up for success, most important thing is to go through a home buyer class. Hopefully you guys can see my screen there. So the most important thing is to go through a home buyer class. A HUD-certified home buyer class, most of them are free of cost or usually very minimal cost depending on the area you are. You can go to HUD.gov and you can look up the home buyer classes there. What you'll get in a home buyer class is understanding about buying your own home, the pros and cons to it. So a lot of people need to realize, you don't want to buy more home than you can afford or more home than you can take care of. The other thing is managing your credit. So once you've bought your home, how to manage your credit, and after you've bought your home, managing your credit is really important. Budgeting pre-purchase and post-purchase. Because managing your money, you're preparing for different things as a homeowner. You're preparing for taxes, you're preparing for new roof, plumbing, remodeling, all kinds of things. Also increased utility costs, mortgage assistances. So if you're getting a down payment program, what is the rules to those? How soon can you resell your home, or when do you have to pay those kinds of things back? The importance of having a home inspector. I can't tell you how many people will skip home inspection and it costs them thousands of dollars of doing it. So paying that $500 to $700 for a home inspection can save you thousands of dollars. Even if this is your dream home, you're gonna buy it, no matter what, you still need to know what you're walking into and having that ideology of being responsible, because now we're a homeowner. We're looking at things differently. It's a different mindset in homeownership. Now, determining if you're ready to buy. You're like, I paid $3,000 for rent. I might as well just buy a house. That's what most people think. You need to understand what your affordability is. It's like a pie. If your income is $5,000 a month and $1,000 goes out the door every month for things like child support, car payments, credit cards, that only leaves $4,000 in our pot. Out of $4,000, your affordability is only 44%. So that's between $1,900 and $2,100 home. That amount home is about $199,000 to $225,000 home. So that's not a lot of house. And again, that's just some rough estimates. So it's really understanding the affordability of purchase. Because you're paying $3,000 rent, that doesn't mean a bank is going to let you pay $3,000 rent. Because remember, they're risking their money giving it to you, and they need to make sure you can pay it back. If you were giving someone $500,000, you want to feel pretty comfortable that they're going to give you that money back. So it's really important to understand what we can afford. Having better credit does help with the interest rates, even with the crazy interest rates right now. Still got to have that, and then low debt. So we can't be out with good credit buying $900 car payments, vacation cruises, things like that. Really managing that budget, because again, the bank wants to make sure they're getting their money back from you. And then look at down payment programs in your area. Each county has different programs. Some of them are forgivable, and then some of them you do pay back over time. So it's understanding that, and if they are doing what they call stack financing, meaning they're going to put, let's say they're going to put the first-time homebuyer program of $45,000, and then you get $29,000 from CalWish, and then maybe your county has a program or your city has a program for an additional $20,000. It's understanding what the contingencies are of each of those programs. So you can get all of those different financing to maximize your down payment.
So you can stack them?
You can stack them. If your lender's qualified, if they're CDFI, yes, that's Certified Development Financial Institution.
Okay.
So if they are CDFI, yes, they can do that. That's a question you want to ask. So understanding the type of lender you're working with makes a huge difference. Now, you still have to come in with 1% to 3% of your own money.
What is the CDFI stand for again?
Certified Development Financial Institution.
Mic or upward?
I can be louder.
Yeah, good.
Okay. So the other thing you want to make sure is when you're looking at the down payment programs, you need to make sure that they also work with your loan. Because certain FHA loans have requirements and they're coming in with things, and certain conventional loans. So it just, there's a lot of moving parts. So just because you saw this on the internet doesn't mean it's going to apply to you. It possibly can, but that's why talking with a broker or a lender saying, this is what I'm doing, this is how much down payment assistance I'm looking for, this is how much I can bring to the table, what can we do? And having a very honest conversation with them. So there's agencies like ECCCDC, where I work at, that does the down payment programs and has different programs. But there are several different agencies throughout LA County that offer it. Nations Lending, Home Depot, Guild Mortgage, a lot of those big companies offer it. You can look at your credit unions. Some credit unions offer 100% financing because they don't do down payment. So it's figuring out the best way for you for finance. What works for one person doesn't necessarily work for you. And that's okay. It's figuring it out. Now, these are some of the down payment programs that you can work with. Now, the thing about the California Dream for All, you must be pre-approved and already working with a lender. That's an absolute, that's a must, non-negotiable. Now, the other programs, the Town Hospital program, Town Home, and the different state programs, no. Once you are qualified with your lender, they will let you know which of those state programs that they're going to work with you. You don't have to worry about, well, do I apply separate? It's all, your lender does it all for you. Now, the wish funds are forgivable loans. And then also depending on what city or county you're in, they also have forgivable funds for home purchase that you can use. So it's just finding out, and that's where having a realtor or a lender who's very up to date on that, because the funding is constantly changing. Just know that. It's really important to understand that. Now, the other thing is, here are income limits. So for the forgivable money, meaning the free money, these are the income limits for LA County. Now, you can see what limits they have for if you're buying in Orange County, the Inland Empire, Ventura County. There's different Kern County, if you really want to go to Bakersfield.
Are those gross or net?
These are your gross. This is your gross income. Now, this is for the free forgivable funds. So for the WISH program, which is a huge help with, because that's $29,000 in free money that you do not pay back. For every $1 you bring to the table, they give you $4. So for some people, that makes the difference of mortgage insurance or no mortgage insurance. And if you're wondering why the importance of 20% down payment, it's because the more money you put down, the less mortgage insurance you pay. And what I mean by that, here's an example.
Can I ask you a question about
Sure.
that? So how about, like, for example, you live with your parents, do you have to include their income
No,
with your income?
no, it's sellers buying in the house.
Okay,
So if it's just you buying,
okay.
then
So
that's it.
that's the income limit.
But if it's you and your parents buying,
Okay,
then that's the income.
okay, so I got you. So you'd be under family size of one.
One,
Okay, perfect.
because that's how you file your taxes, family size of home. So here's one example. So by having the down payment assistance, as you can see on the screen, and this is so people can understand, that mortgage insurance that we're not paying because we're coming in with as close to 20% as possible, that's $379 a month you can save. And over 5 years, if you put that $379 in savings, that's $22,000 in 5 years that you will have in your bank account. That's $22,000 that you could put towards extra of your home. If you make one extra house payment a year and do nothing else, you will pay your house off 7 years faster. Because that one extra payment goes to principal. So every little bit that you can save or create a savings of wealth for you is what homeownership does. And having that savings, as small as it seems right now, can make the biggest difference for you. Especially in financing, when you're financing with mortgage insurance or without mortgage insurance. So it's really important. Like Bank of America, they have a down payment program of $17,000, and they don't deal with other state programs. And for some people, that's all they need, because they have enough in savings. Some people are like, no, I need every dollar I can get, and they're scraping and scrimping their own part of the down payment. Yes?
Where's the 85,000 coming? Like, Is that how much loan amount you get?
For the,
The subordinate financing aggregate mortgage? Is that-
yeah, so that's part of like your down payment assistance, so, your down payment is 17,000, then your first, and then all your other secondary.
um,
So, for some areas, they can get as much as 85, LA County, I think, was up to 107. So it's just an average median. So someone who had to come up with $17,000, they're paying 4,800. But the person who came in with the down payment assistance plus their own money plus everything else, they're paying 34, creating savings.
Okay.
Now, you do have to pay this money at the end, but your house will be paid off, so it's not too bad. And the interest isn't crazy. It's not compounded interest, it's not high interest, it's simple 3%. And anytime you refinance your house, now this is for the down payment assistances, like the Green for All and the other ones. So anytime you refinance your house, you usually refinance that money in there. So when you're done in 30 years, you're done.
So you've done your 30 years and, okay. So in the end, you still need to pay back the down payment, right?
Some of it, yeah. So the biggest thing is getting approval. Now, some people get offers, you call up the lender, they'll ask you, hey, what's your credit? You tell them what your credit is, you ask them what your income is. For the Dream for All or any of the state programs, you need to be giving that lender your W-2s, your tax returns. It needs to be a true offer. When they're just talking to you over the phone, that's just a generalized offer. You have to be able to support that once they start putting the paperwork in. Once you put in an offer or it's accepted and they're saying, okay, let me see your tax returns and everything now. That's sometimes when it gets sticky and things can fall apart. We usually recommend in the homebuyer classes that when you meet with the lender, you've shopped your lender, you've decided who you're going to work with, make sure you have your documents ready, your most recent pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns. And that's for everybody who's going to be on the loan. And for some of the programs, they'll ask for other income of people in the house, like your kids if they're working, things like that.
Is there programs for entrepreneurs, loan programs? Sometimes it's harder to get loans.
Well, it depends again on the lender and it depends on their tax returns. So, that's why, as much as we don't like to pay the IRS, when we're qualifying for a home, that's when we have to pay the IRS. Because they have to actually see what's coming in. Because you'll have people that have their own business, they'll make $100,000 a year, they write off 70 of it, and when we look at your tax return, it tells me you made $30,000. You're like, no, but I made 100,000. But your tax return's telling me something else. So for entrepreneurs that are out there, it's really important to track your monthly expenses and have that profit and loss sheet every month. Because lenders can work with that as well. Your profit and loss, and then figure out affordability from that.
We have a few questions from the webinar audiences.
Okay.
The first question is, things regarding the Cal HFA program. What if the market will depreciate in the future instead of appreciation? The examples on the Cal HFA website only illustrates scenario of appreciation in the value of the home. So what will happen if decrease?
So if you lose money on your home, on the last round of funding, the state would lose money on your home as well. Now, the principal amount that you borrowed, so let's say the state gave you $80,000, you still owe the state $80,000. As far as the 20% of their equity, it's whatever the equity is at that time. But the principal amount that you borrowed, that $80,000, $90,000, you still owe California that $80,000, $90,000. Just like the other Cal home programs, the $45,000. If your house is upside down and you're paying it off, you still owe them that $45,000.
Another audience asked, when does the down payment program start?
So for the Dream for All, they're thinking or hoping that it'll come out in February or March. They haven't said for sure. The other down payment programs are available all year round. So the 45,000, the 30,000, and those different down payment programs are available all year. The Dream for All, that is a small window of time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No such thing as a dumb question except the one that wasn't asked. I promise I don't bite.
Yeah, we will have another Q&A session at the end of this event. So,
So real estate agents, everybody knows one. Everybody's cousins, friends, brother, mother, sister, neighbor is a real estate agent or knows one. And here's the thing, when looking at a real estate agent, it's really important to make sure you're working with someone that you feel comfortable, because remember, they're helping you make the biggest purchase in your life. I like to joke around with the home, with the spouse, you can get an annulment and get a new spouse like that, especially in California, you can get a new one like that. But the home, we are locked into that bad boy for 30 years. And we are going to live with those people on that street, in that condo community, in that gated area. So you need to make sure you feel good about where you're going and who your neighbors are gonna be. And having a real estate agent that knows the market, knows how to work the deals is really important. So don't be afraid to tell friends and family, thank you, I appreciate you helping me, but I am going to go with this guy. He's closing, 2 loans a month. He's done, from $1 million homes to $300,000 homes and really knows what they're doing. And that's what you want to look for. How much have you done in business? What kind of business are you doing? How satisfied are your clients with it? What kind of lenders have you worked with? Are you familiar with down payment programs? There's a lot of realtors that don't know down payment programs or don't work with them. So really important to communicate that with your lender as well and your realtor. Because you'll have, as much as I want to give you a shot and do this, I also have to make sure, given the amount of time I have with my pre-approval and my funds, that I get this done. So, fun part, and this is the thing I tell people about Homebuyer. It is the craziest roller coaster ride you will be on. As soon as your offer is accepted. So we've got our lending, we've got our financing, we found our perfect home, and as soon as we go, it is the roller coaster of your life. You are gonna be getting calls all day long about documents they need. You're gonna have to do various different kinds of inspections. You gotta start preparing for your big move, things like that. You gotta get loan signatures, you've gotta do notarizations, you gotta submit bank statements, you can't touch credit, you can't do anything. I mean, you are on pause until that loan closes and is funded and you get keys. And it's really important to understand that. So when you're doing it, these inspections come up fast. It's the slowest and fastest 30 days of your life, like I tell people, and the craziest. And on day 31, when you get your keys, it is just magical. And then you look at your significant other and thank them for surviving it with you. A little bit about BCCCCCDC, gotta get a little plug in. These two beautiful, wonderful people, Rodney Fernandez and Bertha Garcia, saw a need in the community. Because there's a lot of people that want to buy homes. And they go to lenders and professionals thinking they're going to help them. And a lot of them don't. Because they don't know the programs. They don't work with the programs. This is the kind of client I want to work with, and that's it. So 22 years ago, they cashed in all their chips and started BCCCDC with a hope and a dream. And 22 years later, they're still here doing it. We're still doing homebuyer classes. We're still coaching people one-to-one on how to do this, helping them fix their credit, helping them build savings, helping them do the things and give them the tools they need to be successful homeowners. Because I've had people come in and they can qualify for a loan. And I tell them, I'm going to see you as my foreclosure client. Because they're not financially ready for it. Their credit cards are still maxed out. They're still paycheck to paycheck, maybe $100 in the savings. That is not being ready for homeownership. You have to be ready for it. And I have some people that have great credit, have savings, but they're not mentally or emotionally ready for it. And that's okay. It has to all come together for it to happen. So our clients, the majority of them, so I like telling people this, the majority of them are low income. So don't ever feel because I'm not making $150,000 a year, I can't afford a home. You can, it's figuring it out. There are lenders who do manufactured homes, and maybe that's where we start. There are lenders that do, we can prove some of the income, or help you with the down payment. Sometimes it's just fixing the credit, and that gets us ready for home loans. It's just figuring out what we have to do. Moderate income, we get some of those, but the majority of people who are ready to buy are the ones working 2 jobs.
Is VCCDC same thing as like similar to VSDC?
Kind of, we do our own little thing, but I mean, we're sort of in that same pool of group of area agencies that we help. I mean, we're from Ventura County, but we do a lot of business in LA County. We do Kern County, Ventura County, Santa Barbara County, and then Lancaster, Palmdale, because apparently nobody wants to go to Lancaster. I've been there, I get it, but their gas stations, best gas stations I've had in Lancaster. But yeah, so it's just finding who can work with you. I know in LA County, there's a lot of different organizations because language is a barrier. That is the biggest hindrance. So with the HUD website, they have over 150 languages. So regardless of what your language is or your dialect, they will have a HUD counselor that can work with you and get you through the steps like I can in a language that's comfortable for you. And if not, I will find you one, and I have. So during the COVID relief funds, when homeowners were frantically trying to save their homes, we were finding HUD agencies that spoke various different dialects, whether it was Korean, Taiwanese, Chinese, Japanese. I'm going to say this wrong. Mom? I'm totally saying it wrong, but various groups, and we make sure that we can find it, especially in the Spanish dialects. There is a lot of different variations about it, especially with the Oaxacan community. They have over 100 of their own languages. So making sure we can find someone who can do it for you, we will do that. And a shameless plug of our services, obviously our education, and these are all free. So anytime I do a homebuyer class, please know that it's free. I do not charge. Our coaching, our one-to-one services, so if you want to meet with someone to figure out your credit, to figure out what you need to have an action plan for getting mortgage ready, do that. And then we also do lending, and we also refer out for them. So I work with a lot of lenders. I actually have someone here who's a lender who can answer a lot of questions because they do some specialized services. But again, it's finding what works and who works for you. This is SFBCCCCCDC. Questions, concerns, the internet, what do you have for me?
Question.
Do you have your email address and the phone number?
I have my card on hand.
Yeah, I can put it.
There's also one question from the online audience. Another question, can I use the Dream for All program if I'm going to purchase a land and build a manufactured home on it, but not purchasing an existing
No.
house?
So land loans are done differently. So if you're buying a piece of land, there's nothing on it. It is just dirt in the middle of nowhere. You cannot use any of these programs. That is a different kind of financing altogether. Now, they do have what they call 203K loans. Those are construction loans where I'm going to build it, but you still have to do a different kind of loan for the financing of the land itself. So when you are using these programs, land must come with the house. Kind of has to do it.
Second question, how long will the Dream for All program last?
Not very long.
Not very long.
Most people are kind of already queuing up. They're already starting to work with lenders, and lenders are already waiting so when they can start submitting. So if that is your plan for down payment assistance, you need to start working with the lender now who can start submitting your paperwork. So as soon as that website opens up for submission, you're in there. More questions, comments, concerns?
So it's a first-time home buyer. How about your spouse, your significant other?
So
The-
first
the-
time home buyer in California is someone who has not been on title or owned property in 3 years. Now, the other rule to that is the displaced spouse rule. So let's say you and your wife decide to get a divorce, and wife is gonna buy a new house. She would qualify as a first time home buyer again because of the divorce, because you had to sell your home. So either it was required through the court, or it was just part of the divorce proceedings that, okay, we're gonna sell our home and move on, then you can qualify as that. But people who are, let's say mom and dad put you on the title of their home, because in some cultures, everybody gets on the title of their home, you would not be qualified as a first time home buyer. You have to get off of that title of the home and wait 3 years.
Okay. But if you bought a house 3 years ago, you're considered a first-time home
And you
buyer?
don't own it anymore.
If you don't own
So
it.
you don't own it anymore. You have no property, no title, no nothing.
But then there's that new thing about your parents.
So family members,
own a
so
home or
parents who did it, so it's to give an opportunity of wealth to people who may not otherwise. So let's say your parents have never owned a home, or maybe they're not even from here. So this is an opportunity for you to start building some wealth. So just adding different caveats to it, there's different rules that they're working on and coming out with for it. Because on the last one, it helped a lot of moderate income. People who didn't quite qualify for low income, but didn't quite qualify for the moderate incomes. It's the people who were stuck in the middle. And that's why it went so fast and helped so many people. They were like, this is my only shot. This is it. And they went for it.
So that means if you have parents that have homes and then you're not qualified, right?
Not for the dream, but for the other programs,
Okay.
you can still qualify.
So for the 3 year, not on the title of any home, you will qualify for it. But in the case that that gentleman just mentioned, they are divorced or thinking about divorce, and they decided to keep one of them, gonna keep the house.
So the spouse that keeps the house has to take the other one. So let's say you and your wife own a home and you guys are getting a divorce and it's pretty amicable. And she's like, you know what, you go ahead and keep the house, but you're both on the loan. She has to come off the loan and she has to come off the title.
And
And
then
then she
will-
can buy again.
So she would qualify without not being on the title for 3 years. That's an exception, is that right?
Yes. So the displaced spouse,
Oh, I see. I see. What is that called?
displaced spouse,
This
so,
Displaced, yeah,
Spouse
spousal.
rule.
Uh-huh. So people who get divorced, people who break up, who weren't married, there was somebody went somewhere else. That kind.
Can the Dream for All program be used for purchasing a manufactured home?
On land, yes. So all loan programs for manufactured homes, if it comes with the land. Now, there are some lenders who can do a manufactured home for purchase if it's in a park. That's a whole nother webinar for another day.
The farm would qualify for that. A farm, does that have a house on it, on a big land? That
Yeah,
would be,
and you might even be able to do USDA for that. So if it is agricultural property or unincorporated, there is USDA option, which is 100% financing. Again, back to Lancaster. Here we go.
So unincorporated areas, you could qualify for, like, USD loans?
For some incorporated areas, parts of Lancaster, I know do.
Unincorporated areas in like Los Angeles?
There are some unincorporated areas that do qualify. I want to say Chudley. Totally saying it wrong. Chudley? It's near Southgate.
Hacienda Heights.
Yeah, it's that way. Yeah, there's little pockets that are unincorporated areas. So USDA may be a possibility, depends on how well versed your lender is.
I was on the USDA loan thing and it was like really hard to figure out how to do that.
The lenders are usually pretty good with that. You can ask the lender like, hey, I have this property at 123 Main Street in Hacienda Heights. It's a ranch, kind of interested. And then they'll let you know. You still have to qualify just like you would any other loan. credit, income, ability to repay, things like that.
Who has the better rates, USDA or FHA?
It depends, I mean, they're all kind of the same. VA loans for veterans, those are usually a little bit lower than everybody else, but with the current market, I tell people, don't be scared by the interest rates. In a year or two, you can refinance it lower, and the more you pay the principal as well, helps.
Just with USDA and FHA are kind of priced the same.
Okay.
So most of them, yeah, conventional FHA, they are. I mean, sometimes you can get a little bit lower, but right now, everybody's kind of in the same pool of interest rate.
And people who have identity theft problem, that's why their credit is not so good. Do they consider any other option for those people?
So for
I know
most
somebody who
banks,
has
yeah,
any.
so most banks, technically, 580 is usually the score where you can get a loan. Your interest rate is going to suck, and your payment's going to be really high. So it's working with someone to help fix that, especially through identity theft, and then proof of identity theft, so like police reports, working with Social Security, the IRS, and different agencies to repair the identity theft. And then working with the credit agencies also to say, hey, I was a victim of identity theft. And it takes time. It does take time to repair that. But you could put a freeze on your account. You can also put notes on your credit account to say victim of identity theft. There are things you can do while you're correcting those problems and fixing it. But most identity theft takes about a year to at least fix. Not improve, but at least to fix and get it under control.
But the program, the dream.
It's a small window.
I know, but it's like,
You have to
For
qualify
people
for
who
the
have-
loan, yeah, you have to qualify for the loan. Once you qualify for your regular mortgage loan, then the dream for all comes in. You have to qualify for the loan first, because there's no credit score.
Do they calculate the dream participation into the debt service and so forth?
Into the purchase price, if it qualifies, yes. So if they know, okay, you're gonna need 80,000, they do that. So this last round, a lot of people got funded after they got keys to their house, but they knew the money was coming.
So you're saying you need to pre-qualify with the bank before you apply for the dream. So you need to qualify on your own before.
And the
Yeah,
lender does the application for you with the state for that. So you do not have to go and apply yourself for the green for all. Your lender does that for you. Questions? Internet?
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Our next guest speaker is Mr. Daniel Sieu. Daniel Sieu is the chairman of William and Stephanie Foundation. He was also appointed to the California Inland Empire District Export Council, the CDEC, by the Secretary of Commerce, Penny Pritzker. Mr. Sieu has worked directly and indirectly with MBDA under the U.S. Department of Commerce since 1997. Currently, his team is reaching out to minority communities, including East Asian and ASEAN communities, to assist the business owners in becoming familiar with applying for government assistance programs from the federal state government. Mr. Sieu will introduce the Los Angeles County Rent Relief Program. With that, qualified landlords with rental properties located in the Los Angeles County and unpaid rent expenses may be eligible for grant of up to $30,000 per unit. Let's welcome Mr. Daniel Sieu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be here, and thank you for joining us. As in William and Stephanie Foundation style, we like to bring you these programs as soon as we hear of them, rather than waiting all around and marketing program and get him on board. We want to have it out there so you can apply and get the paperwork together before all the money's gone. So many times with these programs, by the time you hear of it, all the funds are gone. So rather than get everything perfect, we want to get it to you so that you can begin the process of applying, ask questions, get what information you can together, and then get your foot in the door. In this particular case, we're working with Lendistry to get the word out. During the pandemic, we heard of a lot of different kind of work, whether it was venue, a restaurant, or a small business, but there was practically no program which helped the landlord, even though renters got a moratorium, they couldn't get evicted. Landlords still didn't pay their bills, paid the mortgage, and so many have suffered and either lost property due to that. So this is a great program if you lost funding during the pandemic, whether you could put mortgage or utilities. This program allows up to $30,000 per unit in reimbursement, loss of rent, loss of utilities. And there's different criteria you need to follow. But that being said, we're here to go over with you, show you how you register online and submit the information, and hopefully get you a foot in the door to qualify for some of this funding. So the PowerPoint you're looking at today, this was put together by FAN. There is not even an official version of the PowerPoint out yet, but the thing is, this program opens tomorrow. So we wanted to get the word out to all today so that you can start preparing and implementing your application in if you can. Because there's going to be a rush once everyone hears of this program again. There's going to be so many people applying, they're going to be out of money very quickly. Now, one important factor too, when you apply, if you hit a glitch, whether it's a technical glitch in the software, the program, the application process, or you have a question about documentation, please give us a call. We arrange a relationship with Lendistry where we can help to resolve little issues like that, which we're holding the file on. During the pandemic, if you hooked up the slightest thing on your application, a lot of times it froze your application and there's no one to tell you what was wrong or how to fix it. Hopefully we remedied that or can remedy any kind of situation that you can run into so we can get your application back on track. So, and that here are a few other things that I am using. Okay, unfortunately, you need to look at me versus the screen. This, like I said, this is new to me as well, although we've thought the program. But this, in general, is the guideline for the program. So this program, like I said, open tomorrow. It's called the Los Angeles County Rent Relief Program. And just remember, this is relief to the landlord by helping to keep the renter in there, paying their arrears, so you don't, but the landlord gets reimbursed for that. Those funds that okay, so the priority they have priorities as far as dealing with the benefits. When you apply, you go into the pool, but different categories of people have a preference. So a lot has to do with your census tract. You need to be below 80% of the median census tract for the area. has to be LA County, not LA City. And other criteria within there have to be met in regards to your income level and where your risk mitigation is.
The screen is too, the words is too small, already cannot read it, and if you can read the criteria, I appreciate it. The next page. That was- Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, so high needs area refers to lower income areas, $30,000 per unit per landlord. They're targeting priority given to property owners who own one rental property with 4 or less units. So in order to qualify, you need to show proof of identity, proof of income, proof of ownership. You need to prove that you had a tenant in there. And documentation as far as rent owed by the tenant. And then other expenses like utilities, you need to show that you're in arrears for utility bills if you're trying to get reimbursed for that.
So this is a relief provided to the landlord, that these landlords have low income and their tenants doesn't pay, right? So to come there, they need the money because they don't get income from the rent because the
Correct.
tenants don't pay.
It's a reimbursement.
Yeah, whoever already gets rent paid, let's say, and he gets rental payment for each month, even you have a low income, you are not entitled to this relief because they already get rent, right?
Sorry?
Let's say, if he already collect the rent, so these people are not eligible for this program anymore. This program only applies to those who doesn't collect the rent, who doesn't get the rent, right?
There is a window of time where they could have gone in arrears or are still in arrears. If you did eventually collect it, then you do not qualify. But if someone still owes you for that window of time, then you could claim for that.
That's during the COVID, right? During the COVID.
And one point, which, 1.2, the tenant still needs to be doing it.
Right.
So a lot of times they would have been evicted by now, but in order to qualify for the funding, they still need to be there. Okay, so as far as proof of identity, government ID, birth certificate, social security, green card, the usual proofs of pieces of ID to show who you are. Okay, proof of income, that could be a W-2, tax return, pay stub, things of that nature. You do need a verification of employment from your vendor, could be retirement, pension, what have you. You need to show one piece of proof of ownership, which it could be the deed of title to the property, mortgage statement, a homeowner insurance policy. So pretty simple to show you that you actually own the property.
I have a question.
Yep.
So how about if the homeowner lives on the property but rents out different, like a portion of the house? Is that qualified? And because of COVID, it wasn't rented out?
I believe they qualify.
Okay.
But- But if it is not during the COVID, let's say one of my friends, she has low income, she owned a house, rented out. And then it was an outside COVID window, let's say, past 4 or 5 months, is she qualified for application or not?
She qualifies for that period of time, the window of time.
Window, you mean from which months to which months?
We have it in here, and we'll show it that window of time. I don't know the exact date, but it is in the presentation there. So we'll see it momentarily.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, proof of tenancy, which means you need to show a lease or some kind of proof that you had sold, right? Oh, right. Okay, so, for example, you need to show that this tenant owes you money. Maybe you filed a notice of default or notice to quit or pay rent, that kind of documentation. Or maybe you have a ledger. Some landlords have a ledger showing what is owed. Okay, so once again, okay, so they're looking for preference, landlord who owns 4 units or less. You need proof that you are owed rent. Has to be in the mortgage, what they deem as a mortgage relief area of LA County, so that's what it's where to. Then, proof of update. Oh, now, each unit that you have, you need to file a separate application. Because obviously you're gonna have different tenant in each one. So all the information, only big difference is, I have a lease, in each different one. Proof that they own you. Okay, so here's the online, application portal, where you do need to register and apply. So a lot of times they track who you are, what computer you're using, they want to make sure it's you and not someone else filling out the information, which is very typical. The code is all like that as well. If you, like, once again, if you have any issues in registering or that you applied, then please give us a call, and we can try to help you resolve that.
Do you have a phone number or it's on the, I don't think so. The first page don't have a phone number.
Okay, we'll go ahead and put it out.
Yeah, we will get everyone the phone number at the Q&A session.
Okay, so this is more about the application process. That's just you need to dive into it to start filling out the personal information. This is actually relatively simple for government grant and loan applications. It's just a matter if you are within that zone of the preference area. but you don't apply them, you never know. And then also we can send you reference to the zone of LA County, and you can even plug in the address and it will tell you the LA County and see where you call.
Excuse me, are these information on the LA County website?
And we can also send you a link to it. Okay. Do we have any questions? Yes, sir.
So it's a general, so the house doesn't have to necessarily be a investment property. If I rented 3 rooms in my house that I live in, and people owe me, they didn't pay during that time, I could basically collect arrears money for the 3 different rooms that I rent out.
That's true, and we will verify that.
Thank you.
What's the time frame? I didn't see it on the slides. What's the time frame?
It starts tomorrow, and generally speaking, it will go to work out.
No. I know the application type, but I'm asking you, say, the rent.
The window of time.
Yeah, the window, what's the window?
Yeah, qualified applicants can receive a maximum of $30,000 per unit. The grant awards can be applied to expenses from April the 1st, 2022 on a rolling basis. So from April the 1st, 2022 up to now,
Up to now, if they own any rent, right?
if they own that, yeah.
Yeah, because it's important. I
Or
want,
utilities.
yeah, I want to make sure my friends get the information.
Also to answer your question about phone number, Lendistry doesn't really provide a phone number for this particular programs, but you can call our foundation's phone number, which is 626-387-2898. William Stephanie Foundation.
Can you repeat that again?
Yes, our office phone number is 626-387-2898. Also, to receive free one-on-one technical assistance, please email fanyang@williamstephaniefoundation.org.
Slow down a little bit. Ben, your
Let me just zoom in the email.
maybe it's easier just, yeah.
Yeah. So
Email FAN at William Stephanie Foundation.
Any other questions?
Any other questions from our on-site audiences?
I have another question about you're saying the low income landlord, right?
Right.
Do you have a criteria of what is the low income? How much money?
They have a zone, an overlay of LA County, and they go by census tract. Generally speaking, if you're under 80% of the median census tract in the area, then that's one way of differentiating. But let us find either an online link to plug in an address or an overlay of the zone. You know, a link to these.
Yeah. So on the program portal by Lendistry, there will be a verification tool, so you can input your zip code and.
They will calculate for you, right?
Yeah, so Lendistry or the AI will automatically calculate.
Okay, I got it. So your income gotta be around 80% of the median, right? I mean local median.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, not qualified for any program, but my friends.
But you can have a property located.
I have a property located, but my income's too high.
Oh, you yourself. But it also goes
You're just not prioritized, but you can still apply for the program.
So that means the income too high, you cannot prioritize, but you
But-
still can apply for it.
Yeah.
But see, also, what I'm reading from the guideline of the program, they want to keep tenants in, they don't want them to get evicted. So you may not qualify, but they may qualify, which, because of their status, or location, where it would qualify you to get reimbursed for that.
That's a good news because of my friends, they got a tenant evicted. They lost 1 year or 2 years income. They got a judgment, but they cannot attach the wage and the certain amount of money. That's the problem with my clients.
I see then the tricky part too, they need to still be living.
Yeah. And I have another client and she has 3 unit leased out, none of them pay her anything.
Does it apply to Airbnb properties or no?
It's a residential.
Is it? I mean, you have people in and out as far as Airbnb. For one, they're not living there anymore. They're not living there.
More for small mom and pops landlords.
Good for today? Good to know? All right, well, thank you so much for all of you attending and listening online. Anya, have any closing remarks?
Yes. So we actually just got a quick question from the online audience for Miss Francine.
Oh, yes.
What are the income limits to qualify for the Dream for All program?
The income limits will be the standard count FHA, which is 280 for a family, I believe. Pull those numbers up. Yeah, but I mean, it's still Cal FHA income standards. The people making millions of dollars are not going to qualify, but about 90% of the people will probably qualify under the Cal FHA standards. It's based on the income limits listed on the Cal FHA website.
Thank you so much, Ms. Francine. Again, this is Fan Yang, signing off from William Stephanie Foundation as event MC. We understand this is